If you're hearing these words now, perhaps it's because some whisper in your heart, some gentle tug in the soul brought you here. Maybe it was longing for change. Maybe it was the search for meaning. Maybe, just maybe, it's the mysterious choreography of a universe that arranges every meeting, every message with perfect timing, whether we recognize it or not. I invite you to breathe in deeply. Feel your chest rise and fall. Notice for a moment the miracle of your own presence. You, right now, are alive in this very moment, and that is not a random accident. The place you stand, the hopes you carry, the pain you bear, and the dreams that live quietly in the back of your mind, these are not mistakes. They are invitations. Invitations to remember who you are, why you are here, and to realign your steps with the deepest desires of your spirit. Let's begin with a question that has echoed through the ages, from the ancient mystics of India to the philosophers of Greece, from the desert prophets to the poets who write with tears and wonder. Who are you, really? Are you the sum of your routines, the mask you wear for others, the scars of your past, or the voice of your doubts? Are you the face in the mirror or the presence that observes it? If you look beyond the labels, beyond the roles, mother, father, child, employee, citizen, success, failure, what remains? There is a quiet place beyond thought, beyond fear, where you are not just a name or a body, but a living soul, timeless, infinite, a unique spark of the divine. And what is desire? For so many, desire is misunderstood. We're taught to be ashamed of it, to chase it compulsively, or repress it entirely, to believe that wanting is a flaw, or that fulfillment is reserved for a chosen few. But what if desire, your true desire, is not the enemy of your spiritual path, but the voice of your soul calling you home? What if the longing in your heart is the echo of God's own longing for you to awaken, to remember your power, to participate in the act of creation, and to express the fullness of your being here and now? What if, as Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you? What if you are the vessel through which the universe experiences itself, yearning, discovering, expanding? So, why do our actions so often betray our desires? Why do we wake up each morning with a silent ache, a list of dreams quietly fading, a sense that life is passing by like water through cupped hands? Why do we say we want peace, but rehearse old resentments? Why do we wish for love, but hide behind walls of cynicism or fear? Why do we pray for abundance, but act from scarcity? Why do we long for health, but neglect the body that serves us? It's as if a fog has settled between what our hearts know and how our lives unfold. And yet, beneath all confusion, a simple truth abides. To live the life you desire, your actions must sing in harmony with your deepest longing. Alignment is not a moral rule, it is a spiritual law, as true as gravity and as beautiful as sunrise. When you act in harmony with your soul's calling, life flows. When you betray yourself by acting out of fear, guilt, or unworthiness, suffering emerges. To align your actions with your desires is to become whole. It is to bring the scattered fragments of your life back into the embrace of your own awareness. It is to say, I choose to live, not just to survive. I choose to love, not just to be loved. I choose to honor what is true within me, even if the world misunderstands, even if it is inconvenient, even if it is terrifying. This is the journey. And this journey begins, as all spiritual awakenings do, with an act of deep and radical honesty. The willingness to see yourself not as you have been told, not as you pretend to be, but as you are. Close your eyes now. Picture a river winding its way through a valley. Imagine the current, how it moves with certainty, carving stone, nourishing life, undeterred by the obstacles in its path. Now imagine trying to force that river to flow backward against its own nature. It's impossible. The river suffers when blocked, when channeled against its will. So do you. You are not here to be a dammed up stream, but a living, flowing expression of the divine current within. Your desires are not meant to be shamed or denied. They are meant to be understood, refined, and followed with the courage of a river that remembers its source. Perhaps you've been told that wanting is selfish, that to desire is to be materialistic or vain. But listen deeply. There is a vast difference between the ego's cravings and the soul's yearning. The ego wants to possess, to control, to be seen and applauded, to conquer and consume. The soul, however, longs to create, to connect, to experience, to serve, to love. The ego says, when I have more, I will be happy. The soul says, when I am aligned with my purpose, I am whole. The world is full of people running after what they don't truly want, mistaking applause for joy, power for peace, accumulation for fulfillment. The wise understand that real alignment is an inside job. Let us reflect then on what you truly desire. Not what you've been told to want, not what you think you should want. Not what your parents, your teachers, your culture, your fears have convinced you is necessary for happiness. But what your heart aches for in moments of stillness, in the dark hours before dawn when no one else is watching. Is it peace? Is it love? Is it meaning? Is it freedom? Is it the joy of expressing your gifts, of healing your wounds, of touching another soul with kindness? Whatever it is, know this: your soul would not give you a longing it was incapable of fulfilling. Desire is the language of the divine, and when you listen with courage, miracles happen. The first step is to come home to yourself, to lay down the weapons of self-judgment, of guilt and comparison, and to accept with humility and gratitude the astonishing fact that you are alive. Your life is not a mistake. The circumstances of your birth, the shape of your body, the color of your skin, the wounds you carry, the gifts you bear, these are not accidents, but ingredients in the alchemy of your becoming. If you want to align your actions with your desires, you must first accept the invitation to befriend yourself. Can you look at your own heart with the tenderness you would offer a frightened child? Can you forgive yourself for the times you acted out of fear, ignorance, or pain? Can you bless your past not because it was perfect, but because it brought you here to this holy moment of possibility? This is the path of awakening, not the path of perfection, but the path of presence. Each time you return to yourself, you step out of the prison of the past and the anxiety of the future. You become available to life as it is, not as you wish it would be, not as you fear it might become, but as it is. This presence is the gateway to transformation. It is the soil in which new seeds can be planted, the silence in which a new song can be heard. Ask yourself quietly and honestly, where in my life are my actions out of alignment with my desires? Where do I say one thing and do another? Where do I wish for healing but act out of old wounds? Where do I dream of connection but hide behind armor? Where do I yearn for abundance but act from a mentality of lack? There is no shame in this questioning. It is the beginning of wisdom. To see clearly is to begin the process of realignment. Forgive yourself for the years you spent asleep, for the times you betrayed your own heart out of fear, for the habits you developed to survive. Every human being learns at some point the pain of living out of sync with their own soul. But what matters now is not what you did, but what you choose. The past is gone. The future is a dream. The only place you can act, the only place you can love, the only place you can heal is here in this breath, in this moment. And in this moment, everything can change. Imagine now a tree standing tall in the center of a wide field. Its roots dig deep into the nourishing earth. Its branches reach for the sky. The tree does not apologize for its strength or its beauty. It does not compare itself to the other trees. It simply grows, aligned with its nature, expressing the fullness of what it is. The same life that animates the tree animates you. The same intelligence that guides the turning of the stars guides your heart. There is nothing missing in you. There is nothing broken. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to realize it, to embody it, to live in alignment with the truth of your being. But what then does it mean to act in alignment with your desires? It means to make choices, however small, that honor what you know to be true. It means to say yes to what lights you up and no to what drains you. It means to be courageous enough to disappoint others if it means being true to yourself. It means to speak with your own voice, even when it trembles. It means to listen to the wisdom of your body, the knowing in your gut, the whisper of intuition that is the voice of your soul. It means to stop waiting for permission, for guarantees, for applause, and to step forward in faith, knowing that life supports those who have the courage to be real. To act in alignment is not always easy. The world will tempt you to conform, to betray your heart for the comfort of belonging, to sacrifice authenticity for approval. There will be days when fear is loud, when the path ahead is uncertain, when old patterns rise up like storms in the night. But every time you choose truth over comfort, love over fear, faith over doubt, you strengthen the muscles of your soul. Every time you forgive, you release yourself from the prison of resentment. Every time you bless what you have, you invite more to flow into your life. Every time you act with integrity, even when no one is watching, you become an instrument of grace in the world. So let's begin again. With each breath, let's return to the center. Let's become students of our own desire, listeners at the door of the heart. Let's be willing to question our assumptions, to challenge our limiting beliefs, to release the stories that have kept us small. You are not your past. You are not your wounds. You are not your failures or your successes. You are not even your thoughts. You are the witness, the presence, the awareness in which all things arise and pass away. The more you remember this, the more your actions will naturally align with the deepest longing of your soul. Let us turn now to the power of intention. Intention is not mere wishing. It is not idle hoping. Intention is the force that organizes energy, that calls forth opportunity, that invites synchronicity into your life. When your intention is clear, when your desire is sincere, and when your actions are consistent with both, you become magnetic. People, events, resources, even apparent coincidences begin to organize themselves around you. This is not magic, it is the natural consequence of alignment. The universe, after all, is not random. It is an intricate web of relationships, a dance of energies, a field of infinite possibility. When you show up in truth, life responds. So, set your intention now, not as a demand, but as an offering, not as a desperate plea, but as a quiet declaration of your willingness to participate in the miracle of creation. Say to yourself, I am ready to live in alignment. I am willing to release what no longer serves me. I am open to guidance, to healing, to growth. I am here, now, present and available to the life that wants to be lived through me. And then, with each step you take, ask, does this action honor my desire? Does this thought support my intention? Does this relationship nourish my soul? There will be times when the answer is no. When you slip into old habits, when fear returns, when doubt whispers that you are not enough, let these moments be teachers, not tyrants. Let them remind you that you are a work in progress, that the path is not linear, that grace is available in every moment. If you fall, get up. If you forget, remember. If you lose your way, pause and listen. The soul always knows the way home. And let us remember, alignment is not about perfection. It is about honesty, humility, and willingness. It is about showing up again and again with an open heart. It is about forgiving yourself for being human, for learning slowly, for stumbling along the way. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Like learning to play an instrument, alignment is a matter of attunement, of listening deeply, of correcting your course with gentleness and grace. See yourself now as a garden. Within you, countless seeds lie, dormant seeds of kindness, creativity, courage, joy, compassion, wisdom. Some have begun to sprout, others wait for the light of your attention, the water of your love. What seeds are you watering each day with your thoughts, your words, your actions? Are you feeding the weeds of doubt and resentment, or the flowers of hope and gratitude? You have the power to choose. Every moment is an opportunity to begin again. Let's speak for a moment about the voice of the ego. The ego is not your enemy, but a misunderstood friend. It developed to protect you, to help you navigate a world that can be harsh and unpredictable. But the ego is limited. It lives in fear. It believes in separation. It is obsessed with survival. It is the voice that tells you to stay small, to hide, to hoard, to defend. It fears loss, so it resists change. It fears vulnerability, so it wears masks. But you are not the ego. You are the awareness that notices the ego's voice. You are the stillness beneath the noise. When you align your actions with your desires, you step out of the prison of ego and into the freedom of soul. This freedom is not the absence of challenge, but the presence of love. It is the willingness to meet life as it is, to embrace both joy and sorrow, gain and loss, knowing that all things pass and that you remain. The soul is not afraid of change because it knows itself to be eternal. The soul is not afraid of pain because it knows that pain is a teacher, a portal, an invitation to deeper compassion. The soul is not afraid of death because it knows that life is a continuum, that endings are beginnings, that nothing real can be lost. So, how do you live this truth in the world? How do you align your actions with your desires day by day, moment by moment? It begins with awareness. Before you act, pause. Before you speak, listen. Before you judge, inquire. Before you react, breathe. In the space between stimulus and response lies your freedom. In that space, you can choose. Will you act from habit or from presence? From fear or from love? From ego or from soul? Practice then the art of conscious living. Make your life a meditation. Let your relationships become classrooms, your challenges become teachers, your work become a sacred offering. When you notice yourself slipping into old patterns, do not condemn yourself. Smile and return to your center. Realignment is always possible. There is no moment in which grace is not available. There is no wound that cannot be healed. There is no dream that cannot be realized when you act in harmony with your soul. Imagine for a moment a world in which every person lives in alignment with their deepest desires. Imagine a world where love is the motive, where creativity is honored, where compassion is the norm, where peace is valued above profit, where diversity is celebrated as the expression of infinite intelligence. This world is not a fantasy, it is a possibility, a potential that exists in the quantum field of now, but it begins with you. It begins with the willingness to be the change you wish to see, to embody the qualities you admire, to live as if your life matters because it does. Let us remember, too, the power of surrender. Alignment is not about force or willpower, it is about trust. Trusting that the universe is benevolent, that life supports your growth, that your desires are holy, that you are guided even when you feel lost. Surrender does not mean giving up, it means giving over. Giving over your fears, your doubts, your limited stories to the wisdom of your higher self. It means allowing life to move through you, to surprise you, to lead you beyond the boundaries of what you thought possible. There is a beautiful paradox here. The more you surrender, the more empowered you become. The more you let go of control, the more you discover your true power. The more you release attachment to outcomes, the more you enjoy the journey. The more you trust the process, the more miraculous your life becomes. So, if you find yourself struggling, if you feel out of alignment, remember this: you are not alone. Every human being walks this path. Every saint, every sage, every teacher, every seeker has known the pain of disconnection and the joy of return. You are part of a vast family of souls, each learning, each growing, each remembering the truth of their being. Let that comfort you. Let it inspire you to be gentle with yourself, to persevere, to trust the process. And as you move forward, keep asking, what would love do here? What would wisdom choose? What does my soul desire? And then have the courage to act. Small steps taken in faith become great journeys. Simple acts of kindness offered without expectation change the world. Honest words spoken from the heart heal old wounds. Creative risks taken in spite of fear open new doors. Life is not a rehearsal, it is happening now. Your time is precious, your presence is needed. You are the author of your destiny. You are the artist of your own becoming. You are the instrument through which the universe expresses itself. Do not waste another moment betraying your own heart. Do not squander another day living someone else's dream. Do not postpone your joy, your healing, your contribution. The world needs you, your gifts, your vision, your love. Remember, too, that alignment is not a destination, but a practice. Each day offers new opportunities to return, to realign, to begin again. Some days will be easy, others will challenge you to your core. Trust that both are necessary. Trust that you are being shaped, refined, prepared for greater things. Trust that every experience, every encounter, every challenge is part of the unfolding of your unique destiny. Let your actions reflect your desire. Let your words reflect your truth. Let your choices reflect your wisdom. Let your life reflect your soul. And when you forget, as you inevitably will, remember that grace is always waiting, that forgiveness is always possible, that love is always here. You are not here by accident. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are a miracle, a mystery, a masterpiece in progress. Your desires are sacred. Your actions are powerful. Your life is a gift. Align with that truth, and the world will change before your eyes. As you rise from this moment, as you step back into the rhythm of your life, carry with you the awareness that you are the bridge between heaven and earth, the meeting place of body and spirit, the song of the universe made flesh. Walk gently, speak kindly, love boldly, live fully. You are enough. You are worthy. You are divine. And so it is. Let the stillness of this moment linger just a little longer. You are here not in the realm of ideas alone, but in the sacred arena where spirit whispers to matter and intention quietly shapes reality. Notice as your breath moves in and out how the body responds to the invitation of presence, muscles unclenching, heart beating softer, awareness blooming like a sunrise across the horizon of your inner landscape. Feel that. That is you coming home. In this sacred space, the boundaries between what you long for and who you are begin to dissolve. The illusion that your dreams live outside you, forever waiting in a distant future, quietly falls away. What if the fulfillment you seek is already woven into your being, waiting not to be acquired, but to be unveiled by your willingness to participate? What if every step you take toward your soul's calling is not a quest for something new, but a remembering of something ancient, something that in truth never left you? The world will often tell you to look outward for answers, to collect more knowledge, more experiences, more proofs of your worthiness. But the great paradox, the spiritual secret hidden in plain sight, is this: it is not the accumulation of more, but the revelation of what already is that brings you peace. The highest wisdom is not found in the distant stars, but in the quiet knowing at the center of your own being. You do not need to become more than you are. You need only to become more aware of what you already contain. Consider the ocean for a moment, its vastness, its power, its endless movement. The surface may be tossed by storms, but deep below, there is a silence that is never disturbed. Your mind, like the surface, is prone to waves, to turbulence, to restlessness. But beneath the commotion of thought, the soul remains undisturbed, deep, infinite, ever-present. Every action aligned with desire draws from this deep well, not from the shifting winds of circumstance or opinion. To live in alignment is to anchor yourself in the calm depth beneath the chaos of the surface. Now, listen for the voice of intuition, soft, steady, and honest, often drowned out by the louder voices of fear or reason. Intuition does not shout. It nudges, whispers, sometimes just a sensation, a subtle knowing in the gut, a feeling in the chest, a gentle insistence that something is right or not yet true. Do not dismiss this voice. It is your personal lighthouse, guiding you through the fog when logic and analysis fail to illuminate the path. When you align your actions with your soul's quiet guidance, life's obstacles transform. You cease to stumble blindly. You begin to move with the certainty of one who is guided by a wisdom greater than intellect alone. The challenge then is not to find your purpose, but to listen deeply enough that it reveals itself in your willingness to be present. Purpose is not something you invent. It is something you recognize, like a melody you suddenly remember from a long-forgotten dream. The more you clear away the noise of expectation and the weight of past disappointment, the more easily the song of your life comes through. Alignment is the courage to dance to your own melody, even when the world asks you to march to a different beat. Healing, too, begins in this alignment. Most of our suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from the resistance we hold, the way we wrestle against what is, the way we betray our own needs in the hope of pleasing others or avoiding pain. When you honor your true desires, you become a friend to yourself. You cease to abandon yourself in small ways, saying yes when you mean no, pretending not to care when your soul aches for connection, silencing your gifts for fear of rejection. Each time you choose self-honesty, you restore a lost part of your being. You grow whole not by addition, but by integration. Let us ponder the simple, radical idea that happiness is not a reward for virtuous living, but the natural fragrance of a life lived in harmony. Like flowers opening to the morning sun, joy arises effortlessly when you stop fighting yourself. There is nothing to earn, nothing to chase, only the grace of meeting yourself where you are and allowing life to flow through you, unimpeded by self-judgment or regret. To align your actions with your desires is to allow happiness to happen, to stop resisting, and to trust the wisdom of your own becoming. Notice how even your challenges, your so-called failures, are not the enemies you once thought. Every difficulty points you back to the places you have yet to love, the desires you have not yet honored, the truths you are still afraid to claim. When you welcome every experience as a messenger, life becomes your ally. The winds of adversity, instead of blowing you off course, fill your sails and carry you onward, deeper into your own authenticity. Now, let us speak of courage, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward in spite of it. To act in alignment is to risk the comfort of the familiar, to step beyond the walls of old stories and dare to imagine a new way of being. Every soul knows this threshold, the edge between what is safe and what is possible. It is here, in the trembling space of uncertainty, that you meet your own divinity. Each act of courage, however small, is a declaration that your desires matter, that your life is worthy of your own trust. When you choose authenticity over approval, truth over convenience, you plant the seeds of a life that is truly yours. Trust, too, is a form of alignment. Trust in the process, trust in your own journey, trust that the path is unfolding in ways you may not yet see. The mind wants certainty, but the soul thrives in mystery. Sometimes what you call delay is divine timing. Sometimes what you call failure is redirection. Sometimes what you call loss is space being made for something greater to emerge. The wisdom traditions remind us the universe is not against you, it is conspiring in your favor. If only you will let go of how you think things should be. Let yourself become comfortable with not knowing. Let wonder be your companion. Every day, greet the unknown, not with dread, but with a sense of adventure. The unknown is not emptiness, it is the field of all possibilities. And surrendering to what you cannot predict, you create room for grace, for serendipity, for the gentle interventions of a benevolent universe that loves you far more than you yet realize. And always, let love be your compass. Love not as a sentiment, but as a choice, as a discipline, as a creative force that shapes worlds. When you act from love, love for yourself, love for others, love for the moment at hand, your actions are imbued with power. Love dissolves the walls of separation. Love releases you from the tyranny of old wounds. Love transforms your desires into blessings not only for yourself, but for everyone your life touches. The smallest act done with love becomes a prayer. The simplest gesture offered with sincerity changes the world. So, I ask you, how will you honor your desires today? What small act of alignment can you offer the world? What truth longs to be spoken? What gift waits to be given? The answer need not be grand, it need only be real. One honest word, one act of forgiveness, one moment of stillness, these are the steps that build a life of meaning. Remember, alignment is not a static state, but a living, breathing dance. You will fall out of step, and that is okay. Each misstep is an invitation to return, to remember, to recommit. Life is generous in its invitations. The path home is never closed. All that is required is your willingness to say yes again and again to the truth that calls you forward. Let gratitude be the ground you walk upon. Each day find something to praise the resilience of your own heart, the kindness of a stranger, the miracle of breath, the beauty of a sky painted with dawn. Gratitude roots you in the present and transforms even the ordinary into the sacred. When you act from gratitude, you amplify the goodness in your life. The more you give thanks, the more you see to be thankful for. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual physics. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where gratitude lives, abundance gathers. And so, let your life become a living affirmation. Let your every action declare, I am here, I am awake, I am willing to participate in the miracle of existence. Let your choices whisper to the universe, I trust, I listen, I follow the guidance of my soul. Let your presence remind the world of what is possible when a human being lives in alignment with the sacred fire within. As you continue your journey, know this, the power to transform your life is not hidden in some distant future or outside yourself. It is here in this very breath, in the clarity of your intention, in the honesty of your action. You are the place where heaven touches earth. You are the prayer, the answer, the miracle in motion. Step forward. Align your actions with your desires. The world awaits the music only you can play. And as the final notes of this gentle conversation with your soul begin to fade, let a quiet knowing settle within you. You are not the seeker lost in darkness. You are the lamp itself, quietly lighting the way home. Every breath is an act of grace. Every desire, when honored, is a thread woven into the tapestry of your becoming. There is nothing you must prove, nowhere else you must arrive, no one else you need to be. The universe is whispering, simply be. Be the presence that listens, the spirit that loves, the heart that forgives, the hands that give, the dreamer who acts. Walk gently now, with trust in your footsteps, and know that you are already enough. Let your actions arise as the natural expression of your deepest desire, effortless, unforced, like flowers opening to the morning Sunday. The river of your life flows toward fulfillment, not by struggle, but by surrendering to the truth that you are divine. Step into this day as the miracle that you are. Choose to align and watch the whole universe move with you, lovingly, endlessly, now. There is a sacred truth buried beneath every longing, every silent prayer uttered into the vastness of night, every whisper of there must be more. And that truth is this: reality bends to belief. The universe does not yield to certainty, it dances to the rhythm of your faith. Pretend it's real until it is not pretending anymore. Not because you are lying to yourself, but because you are finally telling the truth that is yet to unfold in form. The soul knows before the world sees. Before your eyes recognize it, before your hands hold it, before your circumstances shape it, the seed of your vision already exists in the invisible. Every reality you yearn to inhabit is already present in the unseen. You do not summon it by proving your worth. You summon it by aligning with its frequency, by becoming the space where its possibility is welcomed. To pretend is not to deceive, it is to remember. To awaken the ancient knowing that what you believe is not born from imagination, but from intuition. The child who plays doctor does not think he is faking it, he is being. The girl who spins in circles as a dancer is not pretending she is embodying. And so must you return to the innocence of inner knowing, where imagination is not delusion but prophecy, where vision is not distant but dormant. Life will reflect what you most consistently embody. If you walk as if you are loved, the world will bend to meet you with love. If you speak as if you are guided, the signs will flood your path like a river remembering its course. If you breathe as if you are free, the chains that bound you will dissolve, not because they broke, but because you realize they were never real. The ego wants evidence before surrender. The soul knows surrender is the evidence. Every moment you spend doubting your worth, you strengthen a reality that never belonged to you. Every time you shrink to fit the expectations of others, you deny the light that came here to expand through you. You are not here to survive your existence. You are here to sanctify it. You are here to bring the formless into form, not by force, but by being the container where miracles are no longer impossible. Close your eyes. See the version of yourself that already lives the truth you desire. See her walking not with hesitation, but with peace. See him speaking not to be validated, but to be real. Feel the version of you who no longer begs for permission, but breathes freely as if the universe has already said yes, because it has. The moment you imagined the life you wanted was the moment the divine whispered, "This is already yours." Not yours to chase, but yours to allow. The gate is not locked. The road is not blocked. The voice that tells you otherwise is not the truth. It is the echo of an unhealed world trying to keep you small. But you are not here for smallness. You are here for expansion, for remembering, for rising again and again into the fullness of who you've always been beneath the noise. Pretend then, not from fear, but from faith. Pretend you are already whole because you are. Pretend you are already loved because you've never been anything else. Pretend you are already guided because the path beneath your feet knows exactly where it is taking you, even when you do not. When doubt creeps in, smile gently. You are not the doubt. You are the sky that holds it. Let it pass like a bird across an endless blue, seen, noticed, but not chased. When fear speaks loudly, do not argue. Listen with compassion, and then return to your truth. You are not the trembling voice. You are the silence beneath it. You are not the storm. You are the vastness that allows the storm to pass without clinging to it. Everything you seek is seeking you not because you are desperate, but because you are destined. The moment you decided to act as if it were already real, you began vibrating at the level of its becoming. The moment you stopped asking, "When will it come?" and began saying thank you for its arrival, the world began shifting on your behalf. The ancients knew this. The Tao spoke of becoming by releasing. Jesus spoke of faith as a seed, small yet powerful enough to move mountains. Rumi wrote that what you seek is seeking you, not in the distance, but within your breath. And so I say to you now, stop waiting for proof to believe. Believe, and the proof will arrive. Walk as if the love has already found you. Breathe as if the healing has already occurred. Speak as if the purpose has already been made clear. Move as if your worth is unquestionable. Love as if there is nothing to lose, because love in its highest form is never lost. The world may call you naive, let them. The world may say you are foolish, smile. They do not yet understand that pretending in its purest essence is remembering that living as if is the most powerful act of creation. That faith is not waiting for the invisible to materialize, but knowing that the invisible is already the most real thing there is. You are not faking it, you are feeling it. You are calling it into form not by force, but by resonance. And one day, not far from now, you will look around and realize that what you once imagined has become what you now embody. The life you once dreamed is the life you now live. The peace you once chased is the peace you now radiate. Not because something outside of you changed, but because you remember that all things begin within. And the moment you stop doubting, stop delaying, stop waiting for confirmation from a world that cannot give what it did not create, that moment you stepped into the miracle. Not the miracle outside you, the miracle that is you. So pretend it's real until pretending becomes unnecessary, until belief becomes being, until your inner world has so completely shaped your outer that there is no longer any difference. Only presence, only love, only truth, only the endless now in which all things are not only possible, but already happening. Jetsibiti Danoi, there is a quiet magic that unfolds when you begin to live not from what you see, but from what you know within. When you rise each morning and step into the day, not with eyes seeking evidence, but with a heart trusting the invisible order that moves galaxies and guides your breath. This is not blindness, it is sight beyond the veil. It is the vision of the soul which sees not with logic, but with light. And so you begin to live as the person you are becoming, not someday, not if, not when, but now. You speak with the voice of someone who has already healed, because healing is not a destination, it is a decision to release what no longer serves your expansion. You wear peace like a garment, not because everything around you is calm, but because everything within you has ceased resisting. And in that surrender, the illusion of separation fades. You realize there is no gap between you and the life you desire, only the illusion of one. It is not time that creates the bridge, it is presence. And presence is not achieved, it is remembered. It is the natural state of your being once all the noise has been softened, once the distractions have been dissolved, once the ego has bowed to the greater truth of who you are. You are not here to chase outcomes. You are here to embody frequencies. You are not here to manipulate circumstances. You are here to align with the divine rhythm that already knows the way. The more you pretend it's real, the more you collapse the illusion of distance between you and your destiny. You stop walking toward your dreams and start walking with them. They are no longer in the future. They become the path beneath your feet. Pretending, then, is the soul's way of rehearsing its truth until the body catches up. It is not deception, it is preparation. It is the sacred act of saying yes to the unseen before it becomes the seen. When you walk as if you are loved, you allow love to find a home in you. When you speak as if you are guided, guidance begins to flow through your words. When you bless your life as if it is already holy, you sanctify it with your attention. Do not wait for permission to live as your highest self. That permission will never come from the world because the world is still waking up to its own light. But you are awake now. You have tasted the eternal. You have felt the subtle pull of your soul calling you home. You have glimpsed the truth behind the veil. And that truth does not require validation to be real. It only requires your devotion. Live as if you are already what you came here to become. Speak as if every word you offer shapes reality because it does. Move as if the ground beneath you is sacred because it is. Everything is energy, and energy responds not to your effort, but to your essence. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are willing to become. And so pretending is the sacred act of being now who you once thought you had to wait to be. Pretend not as an act of desperation, but as a dance with destiny. Pretend as the earth does when it trembles with spring before a single bud has bloomed. Pretend as the sky does when it blushes with dawn before the sun has even risen. Pretend as the soul does when it hums with peace before peace has entered the room. You are not a beggar of miracles. You are their birthplace. Every time you choose faith over fear, alignment over anxiety, truth over performance, you become a living altar for the divine to express through. This is the secret of creation. You become it first in essence, and the form follows. The form is never the origin. It is the echo, the shadow, the response. Pretend not to impress the world, but to impress upon your own consciousness the truth that you are no longer available for anything less than your soul's full expression. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. This is remembering that humility is not shrinking. It is standing in the fullness of your being without needing to explain it. You do not need to justify your joy. You do not need to apologize for your clarity. You do not need to dilute your light to make others comfortable in their forgetting. You are not here to convince the world to believe in you. You are here to believe so deeply in what is becoming within you that the world begins to believe in itself again. So let it all be real now, the peace, the purpose, the power. Let it be real, not because someone else said it is, but because your soul has declared it. Let it be real in the way you sit, in the way you listen, the way you walk into a room, and change the frequency just by being. Let it be real in the softness of your breath and the steadiness of your gaze and the silence you no longer need to fill. Let it be real not in performance, but in presence. Not in pretending for the world, but in pretending with the universe, co-creating the truth until the illusion fades. And it will fade. Slowly at first, like mist dissolving in the Sunday. And then all at once, like a curtain drawn back from a window you didn't know existed. Suddenly the life you once dreamed is the life you now inhabit. Not because you forced it into being, but because you remembered it into existence. You dared to believe in what the eyes could not yet see. You dared to act in harmony with the song your soul was singing long before the world learned to listen. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a life lived from the inside out. A life no longer defined by circumstance, but by consciousness. A life where pretending is no longer necessary because what once was imagined has now become the atmosphere you breathe. And so you breathe, as if it's already here, because it is. ChatGPT Danoi, breathe as if you are no longer waiting, because waiting is born from separation, and you, my dear, are one with the whole. Let your breath become your agreement with the divine, an exhale that says, I trust, and an inhale that says, I receive. Each moment becomes a sacred exchange, not of striving, but of surrender. You are no longer chasing your future like a shadow across the floor. You are sitting in the light, and the shadow moves because you are still. Begin to understand that pretending is not performance, it is participation. You are participating in the dance of energy and the orchestration of the formless becoming form. You are not manipulating reality. You are making yourself available to its highest intelligence. You become the clear channel, the open gate, the willing vessel. And in your willingness, the universe reveals what has always been hidden behind your hesitation, that the dream is not distant, the dream is not ahead, it is embedded in the fabric of now, waiting for your readiness to make it bloom. The garden does not grow faster by screaming at the seed. It grows because the soil is soft, the sun is steady, and the gardener trusts what she cannot yet see. And so must you soften, trust, be steady. You are not weak because you yield to something greater. You are powerful because you remember that you are not the source, but the expression of the source. Pretend not to manipulate the timing, but to harmonize with the unfolding. Live as though the miracle is already underway, because your willingness is the water that feeds its roots. There will be moments when the outside looks unchanged, when the evidence is scarce and the mind begins to doubt. But do not look outward for reassurance. Look inward for alignment. The wind cannot be seen, but its presence can be felt in the dance of the trees. And so too your transformation begins in subtle ways, in the way your voice no longer trembles, in the way your posture becomes prayer, in the way your eyes begin to see not what is missing, but what is possible. And in that possibility, you begin to taste a different kind of power, not the power to control, but the power to become. You do not chase blessings. You embody blessing. You do not beg for clarity. You become the silence that clarity rushes to enter. You do not argue with the delays. You become so still, so certain, that even the detours start to seem like direction. You no longer speak of what is lacking, because lack is no longer your language. You speak now in the native tongue of the soul presence, peace, reverence, enoughness. Watch how life begins to meet you with a new rhythm when you cease to chase its music. Watch how what once eluded you now begins to arrive, not rushed, but right on time. You are not magnetic because you convince. You are magnetic because you believe, because your being becomes a beacon to the things that were already destined to find you once you stopped hiding from your own light. So let the world say what it will. Let the noise carry on outside the temple of your stillness. Let the critics whisper, the skeptics scoff, the doubts dance at the edge of your consciousness. You owe no one proof of your inner alignment. What is real in spirit need not be visible to the untrained eye. A pearl is not less precious because it hides inside a shell. A truth is not less real because it has yet to materialize. It is your belief, your vibration, your unwavering surrender that sanctifies it. And you, beloved soul, are no longer available for the life that waits to begin. You are available only for the life that is already here, humming beneath your skin, rising through your awareness like dawn through the trees. You are no longer interested in timelines and evidence and guarantees. You have chosen the sacred path of trust, the kind of trust that doesn't need a reason because it remembers the source, the kind of trust that creates the conditions for grace to land. And grace, when it arrives, does not shout. It settles like light on water, quiet, certain, complete, just like you. ChatGPT, Danoi, there comes a moment in every awakening soul where the choice is no longer between action and stillness, but between resistance and allowing. The river does not force itself toward the sea. It flows because it remembers where it came from. And so must you remember that what you call pretending is simply alignment unacknowledged, that what you imagine is not fantasy but foresight. You are not a passive observer of life. You are the dreamer through whom life takes shape. You are the breath through which the infinite breathes itself into form. Let your posture be that of one who knows, not one who waits. Let your stillness be bold. Let your silence speak like thunder, for you are no longer bound to the need for external validation. You are no longer dancing for the applause of a world that forgot its own rhythm. You are moving to the tempo of truth now. A truth not borrowed from books or borrowed beliefs, but born within, from that place where the divine placed its whisper inside you before you were even given a name. And what is that whisper saying? It is saying, act as though the miracle has already occurred. Walk as though the path has already opened. Give thanks as though the gift is already in your hands. Because gratitude is not a reaction to what you receive, it is the magnet for what you are ready to hold. And nothing aligns you more swiftly with what you are becoming than sincere, undemanding thanks for what is already on its way. The heart does not ask for permission to beat. It does not wait until the conditions are perfect. It pulses because life is its nature. And so must your vision pulse within you, not waiting, not doubting, not asking, but being, becoming, believing with a quiet fierceness that cannot be shaken by appearances. There will be days when the wind seems strong, when the old stories rise like ghosts from forgotten corners, when the voice of doubt whispers, this isn't real. And in those moments, you do not fight. You do not explain. You simply return to the breath, return to the truth, return to the silent knowing that lives beyond the noise. Because pretending, when done from the soul, is the most sacred form of remembering. Remembering that you were not born to fit into a pre-written script. You were born to author the truth from the core of your being, to sculpt your life from the clay of consciousness, not from the architecture of fear. You do not pretend because you are empty. You pretend because you are full, so full of possibility, of purpose, of presence, that the old reality can no longer contain you. And as you expand, you begin to see differently. You begin to notice how the trees seem to bow in your direction, how the wind feels like a message, how the smallest synchronicities are not coincidences, but confirmations. Life becomes less of a puzzle and more of a poem. You no longer analyze every moment, you feel it. You no longer dissect your journey, you trust it. You no longer look outward for signs, you become the sign. And from this place, a deep gentleness returns to you. The gentleness of knowing you no longer have to earn your way into love. You no longer have to negotiate your worth. You no longer have to hustle for what already belongs to you. You begin to live not as a seeker, but as a knower. You begin to walk through the world with open palms, not clenched fists, with a quiet smile, not a disparity plea. Because now, finally, your inner world is speaking louder than your outer world. And the world begins to listen, not because you demanded it, but because your frequency changed, because your presence changed, because you changed not into someone new, but back into someone eternal. You stopped trying to get the world to believe in you and started living as if you already believed in yourself. You stopped waiting for the signs and became the signal. You stopped asking, when will it happen? And started living as if it already had. And in that holy shift, the entire universe breathed with you and whispered, it is done. ChatGPT Danoi. And so here you are, no longer looking to the horizon as if salvation waits beyond the next dawn, but rooted in this breath, this sacred now, where everything you have ever longed for is already whispering your name. You are no longer pretending, you are remembering. You are no longer rehearsing, you are revealing. And the life you once envisioned from afar now echoes from within every step you take, not because the world has changed, but because you have, because your gaze is softened and your heart is opened and your spirit finally has exhaled. You see now that pretending was never the act of fooling the world, it was the act of freeing yourself. It was the soul stretching its wings before the body caught the wind. It was the light flickering beneath closed lids, preparing to rise. It was the divine in you saying, I have not forgotten. Even as your mind grasps for proof, And now you no longer seek confirmation. You no longer need the mirror to reflect what you know in your marrow. The truth no longer comes to visit, it lives here now. It has taken up residence in your breath, in your silence, in your steady, unwavering presence. There is no need to convince anyone of your becoming. There is no need to narrate your unfolding. The rose does not shout its arrival. The sun does not explain its warmth. You do not need to prove what is already felt. Your life, lived in alignment, becomes its own quiet revolution, a light in the dark for those who have forgotten. A reminder that it is safe to believe before the world confirms it, that it is holy to walk by faith and not by sight. And as you walk, you no longer move from striving but from surrender. You no longer ask, what must I do? But instead, what must I allow? You are no longer the sculptor chiseling away at a block of stone. You are the open sky receiving the Sunday. You are the vessel that knows it is already full. You are the field that trusts the rain will come, not because you command the clouds, but because you know how to wait in reverent stillness. And in that stillness you are met, not with fireworks, not with thunder, but with something far more, sacred peace. The kind of peace that does not depend on circumstances, the kind of peace that does not leave when the winds return, the kind of peace that is not earned, but remembered. You do not need to chase what is already inside you. You do not need to fight for what your soul already holds. Let every thought now be a blessing. Let every step now be a prayer. Let every silence be filled with the holy music of your being. You are no longer waiting. You are no longer seeking. You are no longer pretending. You are being, and being is enough. It always has been. And now you know